And welcome to this episode of the newly titled Gold Stars and Doom Piles, the podcast for high functioning ADHD women. So this is episode 5. And as you know, if you are an ADHD entrepreneur, or really honestly just have ADHD in general, the first idea is like, oh my gosh, so exciting, put it out the world, very impulsive. And then you may take the weekend to think about it and go, oh, maybe I should tweak that, or maybe I should have done that differently. So that's what I'm doing with the name of this podcast. I think it's a lot more fun to call it what it is, right? We're here getting gold stars and we're here collecting doom piles. And so that's really the life of a high functioning ADHD woman. So hope you like the title of the podcast. If you do, if the new title, let me know. Reach out on social media. I am everywhere at Coach Jen T. Johnson, Johnsson. But yeah, today we're going to talk about a question that I get a lot from clients as well as folks interacting on social media. And the root of this question is really feeling alone and clearly is reinforcing the reason why this exists, why my business exists, because there's not a template out there. There's not a manual out there. We are not widely represented as high functioning ADHD women. And so a lot of the questions that I get are, is this normal? And what do other people do? So these are the two questions. So we'll start with the is this normal question that I usually get when someone is like, they are worried about some kind of symptom they're facing or something they're struggling with. They're like, I can get the load in the washer, but I can never get the load into the dryer. Or, I have all these great ideas for meals, but then when it comes time to get the groceries, I can never do it. Or, I set the best intention. I join the gym, I put the money behind it, and then I continue to skip the class. So is that normal, Jen? And I always say back to them, if it's a problem for you, it doesn't matter if it's normal or not. Sometimes that's comforting, to know, okay, you're not alone. It is normal. This is normal. Like you are in a group of people who also struggle with this. But oftentimes what we're looking for is that little girl inside who feels guilty and shameful for whatever is going on in her life and wants to know, like, should I feel guilty and shame? And I want to talk to that little girl inside of you and just say, no, like, this is really truly a question to when you are asking it to examine and say, am I asking this? Why am I asking this question? And if I say to someone, no, that's not normal, then like, how does that make you feel? Or if I say to you, yes, that's totally normal, how does it make you feel? And either way, what are you going to do with that? Right. So if I say that's not normal, then it's like, oh, shoot, shame spiral, right? Or, yeah, that's totally normal. Oh, okay, relief. And then maybe action. So knowing the answer may dictate how you take action, but in the end, that is this normal question. Nothing is normal. All the rules are made up. And so I just continue to reinforce that with clients when they come in with a lot of, preconceived notions about how laundry has to be done or what a meal plan should look like or, what their weekly planning should look like. And it's like, yeah, it's all made up. So we can just truly walk through this coaching experience and say what works for you and your family and your life and your work and the season that you're in and really learn through that you can then pivot because whatever's normal doesn't really matter. The next question I obviously get from there is, okay, well then what do other clients do? If it's not normal or it is normal either way, what do clients do? What do other people do? What do you people do about this? And again, I think that's coming from a good place about like, okay, you're trying to seek the answer, trying to see what's working for other people, and I think that's really good. But oftentimes it often can lead to crowdsourcing, which is a big buffer mechanism. It is avoiding doing the work sometimes until you find the perfect answer. That's what could be hiding underneath that question of what do other people do? It's like, hey, someone tell me the answer so that I can do the thing that's going to work and is going to be perfect. When oftentimes when I pitch that back to clients and I say, okay, well, I'll tell you in my experience, again, my coaching program is a combination of mentoring and coaching. So it's trusting the answers through coaching, but also mentoring you and giving you a little bit of like that, the first few steps, because it is frustrating to have that blank page. But I will often ask them, well, if it didn't matter, like, what would you try? What do you think would work for this? And oftentimes we don't even give ourselves time to think about that. We're not even thinking about, okay, well, if I really wanted to figure this out in my way, with no rules, with no shoulds, with no one looking over my shoulder judging me, the perceived, person looking over my shoulder and judging me for how I'm going to do it, how would I do this thing? How would I get movement in each day? How would I do my morning routine? How would I feed myself? How would I attack that email and the admin work that I need to be doing and that I've been avoiding? How would I do that if I could actually do it without any rules? So I will lead them back to that first. And oftentimes they have really great answers that come from them. And then I just give them permission. Yeah, for sure. Try that. Give it a shot. Let's go see. Go fuck it up. And then they have the week to go fuck it up. And then we have another call. We tweak it and we go through what worked, what didn't work, and check in. But it really is giving yourself the permission that when you're saying to someone, well, what do other people do? To first ask yourself, what would I do if I had no rules? If I could, my big goal is to move my body more, eat better, or have less stress in my life, or better home routines, or to not avoid, to not have task avoidance. Now, if I had no rules, what would I do to achieve that? Ask yourself that first. And then if someone says, okay, this, that, and the other, give examples or ideas, then you can say, okay, what works for other people if you get stuck, right? Because I encourage you to try the first thing that comes to your mind. Give it a shot. You're going to mess it up. It's not going to be perfect, but try it out and then potentially come back with more data and go, oh, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Would it work in a different time of my day? Would it work for a different length? Would it work with a different accountability level? And so we just get curious from there. When we crowdsource, and if I said to a client, if they said to me, what do other people do? And I said, well, other people do a load of laundry starting in the morning, and then after work or at lunch, if they work from home, they put it in the dryer. And then when they get home, they either put it in the washer or the dryer. And then at nighttime, they fold it while they watch TV. They might go try that, but then their kid has baseball practice, or the meeting goes late, or they forget to set the alarm to remind them to put it into the dryer, or. So it may not work for that person. And then they go try that system and they're like, oh, that didn't work. Shoot, it's me. I'm the problem. We are always so quick to blame ourselves, especially as high functioning ADHD women, because we can figure things out so easily in some areas. And in other areas, it's really, really, really challenging. So I encourage you to trust your gut initially. Feel free to Google a couple things. They might give you good ideas, but honestly, really trust your gut. Say, hey, what would work for me? Or what is the goal here? And what are a couple of ideas that I haven't tried yet or that I've tried with minor success? And maybe I can just tweak it. Again, the time of day, where it is in my day, the accountability levels, the reminders that I set. So I encourage you, if you're asking yourself that question of, is this normal? Or what do other people do? That you take a second and go, hey, it's all made up. All the rules are made up. And that's my favorite thing, is to really free people of that, to be like, and it can be, again, it can be scary. It can be a little bit like, oh gosh, did you shoot? Like now I have to make it up and I'm responsible for it. But the more that that responsibility comes from inside of you, and then you give yourself permission to not assign failure when you messed it up. I say when, right? Not if, when you mess it up. When you give yourself permission to not feel like that's failure and it's data, you are so free. That's the last thing that I'm going to say. So my clients will then, we'll help them, make some sort of a plan to move forward with accountability. We'll really think it through, give them, okay, and one of my favorite questions is, what could go wrong? What could get in the way here? So then we can anticipate it. And then we have that if then thinking, if this goes wrong, then I will do this. That's really important for ADHD brains. Otherwise, we think one thing, and if it doesn't go right, then we just go back to to step number one, right? Which often isn't necessary. So the last thing that I say to clients is they go out, they fuck it up, they come back and go, oh, Jen, I didn't do it. Jen, it didn't work, or I kind of did it with this, or I forgot to do the thing. I'm like, great, that's great data. My clients probably get so sick of me saying this, but I'm like, great data, awesome. There's never any shame. There's never any like, oh gosh, we'll try harder next time or try this instead. It's like, great, that's great data. Now, what do we think went wrong there? What got in the way? What didn't we anticipate? Are we going too much into it and we need to like step back and do it and give a little bit less expectations around that? Or was it just a one-off fluke? We don't solve for one-off flukes. We solve for repeatable, consistent things that are happening. So that's kind of the last thing that I leave with them with, is if they come back, they had a great idea, they tried something and it didn't work, lots of questions. Say, what got in the way? What worked really well? What felt really good? What was your brain telling you when you were not doing the thing? And then we tackle it from there. There's always answers inside of you. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of that prodding and that pausing to say, okay, if I could figure this out and I knew the answer, what would it be? And just because it's normal or not normal doesn't mean it's not a problem for me. And if it's a problem for me, it's worth solving, right? And then I can change something about that through that inquiry process. So I hope that this gives you some different ways of thinking when you find yourself in that either crowdsourcing mentality or just wasting time, honestly, wondering, is this normal? Is this not? If it's a problem for you, it is worth solving. And what do other people do? Ask yourself that first. If I could do anything to get laundry done, what would I do? And it might be like I would have the people from the local laundromat come pick up my shit every Monday and drop it off on Friday. Okay, well, maybe that's not in the budget, but what can I do instead? Da 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 da. Right? All these questions where it's like, what would you do if? And then working it back to what is actually realistic, then putting in the reminders, the accountability, trying it out, coming back with curiosity with more data when you mess it up, and then trying again until it fits. And the thing I will end this episode with is that those things, the things that work for you, whether it's laundry or meal planning or an evening routine or answering the emails or getting to places on time, those may be fleeting and temporary. So the app that worked, the alarm system that worked, the whatever it is, the color-coded chart thing that worked, it worked for a reason, but we need to be able to pivot quickly. So when something stops working, it's like, okay, can I add more novelty there? What else? Again, lots of inquiry questions around there. So feel free to get attached to something, but also know that when or if the novelty runs out, to pivot quicker and keep your eyes on the bigger process. We want to avoid deadlines, or we want to avoid missing deadlines. We want to avoid eating, when we get too hungry. We want to avoid not drinking water. We want to avoid staying up super late at night. So thinking about things we want to avoid and then going back to the drawing board and thinking of a new tool. Okay, that's what I got for you. So you can find me on social media, say hello, let me know if you like the new title, Gold Stars and Doom Piles. And there's going to be new episodes. I always, I say weekly. It's bullshit. It's not going to happen weekly. You may get 4 a week, and then you may get none for 3 weeks. Again, I'm not putting myself into a box, and I encourage you to not do that either. And you can find it. You can find me again on Instagram, TikTok, Coach Jen T. Johnson. Reach out there if you're interested in one-on-one coaching. Go to all my social medias, and you will find the links in my bio there will lead you directly to the coaching page to get more support like this. And you get me in your corner and all of my energy and all of my expertise, helping you figure out life shoulder to shoulder. All right. See you next episode.